Well, guess what, my friend? We will all die. We will all be in a lot of pain. It's all coming our way. It's inevitable. It's part of life. But in the meantime, you might as well be a fucking savage and live your life the way you want to live. And you might as well put your best effort and your best foot forward and train like a motherfucker.
This is Mark Belton, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. Today, we're answering questions for the Power Project. Happy Memorial Day. Grilling up some food here today, getting fired up. And speaking of grilling up food, our question for today is about nutrition. A lot of times when powerlifters are bulking up and getting big and bloated, you guys notice the cheeks are getting a little bigger. Notice that I'm filling in these little pouches right here. But I'm also trying to fill up the rest of my body to be able to bench press 600 pounds. In order to bench 600 pounds, it's going to take a lot of fuel. There's no other way to do it. So the question is, they're asking me if I actually diet. And by diet, the guy meant, are you really trying to always make sure that you're getting in enough fuel before your training sessions? Some people may like to eat every 2 or 3 hours, follow protocols like that. Some may say to eat 6 times a day. Stan Efferding would work his way up to 7, 8 times a day. It's very common amongst bodybuilders to follow that style of diet. For myself, for what I'm doing right now, is I'm trying to eat as much as I can going into workouts and surrounding the workouts, because the fuel is really, really crucial. Now, on an off day, on an off training day, I train about 4 days a week. 3 days of those weeks, 3 days a week are really hard and tough training sessions. A lot of heavy weights being thrown around on those days. And so on those days, I pay more attention to what I'm actually eating, and I try to make sure I get in a little bit more fuel. For example, this Saturday, when I did some squats, I squatted 600 for a double. That's a lifetime PR for me. 600 for 2. It's a lifetime PR for me in just a pair of knee sleeves. So I made sure in the morning that I woke up at around 6:30 or so, got my first meal in by 7. I got a second meal in, a smaller meal, at around 9 o'clock. And then I headed off to the gym and trained at about 10 o'clock after all the warm-ups, and just the traveling to the gym takes me 15, 20 minutes to get there. Takes me 15, 20 minutes to let the Monster Energy kick in, and just takes me 15, 20 minutes or so just to kind of hang around and get a feel for what I'm going to do for that particular day. So by the time I do it, by the time I get into my workout, I have the fuel from the 2 previous meals that I had still, sitting in my body, still helping me give me enough fuel to get through those workouts. The actual food sources that I choose are different than somebody who's trying to get lean. When you're trying to get lean, you're trying to get shredded, you have to pick between carbohydrates and fats. You have to pick a certain type of diet. You're either going to go kind of more on the low fat end, or you're going to go more on the high fat end with lower carbohydrate intake. Now, I know some of you are getting all sissy and pissy and whatever and saying, what about if it fits your macros and if it fits in your mouth and blah, blah, blah. All these other things. Those things are great. Flexible dieting is great. Huge fan of the information being pumped out by Dr. Lane Norton, and a lot of other people out there are giving a lot of great information on diet. But in my opinion, that there's really only 2 different styles of diets. One, if you're managing your calories, you're usually managing your fat, or you're usually managing your carbohydrates. So it really just depends on how you actually count your calories. Each person's a little different. I've done both styles of diets, but when you're trying to maximize anything, you're trying to maximize the amount of energy that's in your body, you're trying to maximize the amount of strength that you have, the amount of speed output that you can generate, the amount of endurance that you can have, you're never going to want to limit any macronutrient in your quest for trying to have the best athletic performance possible. So carbohydrates and fats both have to be in there. Unfortunately, carbohydrates and fats together, in my opinion, don't go together well when you're talking about body composition. And when you're talking about body composition, that's when you'd like to pull out some carbohydrates, or you'd like to either pull out some fats. You have to kind of pick or choose between the 2 styles of diets. Stand efforting is somebody who did both bodybuilding and powerlifting. The one thing that changed when he shifted over to bodybuilding is he would reduce the amount of fat that he took in. When he would go back over into powerlifting, he would increase the amount of fats that he took in. Carbohydrate-wise, he didn't change too many things because Stan doesn't really like to eat tons and tons of carbohydrates like some other bodybuilders may like to do. Each person's going to be a little bit different. You'll have to take your temperature and see how you feel with each meal, not literally take your temperature. See how you feel with these different meals that you're eating. Try to become an expert on the foods that make you feel good and start to have a routine of certain types of foods that you have going into certain styles of workouts. I think it's really crucial that you get in enough food. We talk about it all the time when we're talking about what time we're going to lift at. I communicate with Silent Mike or Fat Dan or Little Smokey or Filipino Thunder, and I'll say, hey, what time are you rolling in there today? And they'll say, 2:30. And I'll say, shit, man, I can't get there till 3. The reason I can't get there till 3, even though I'm a meathead millionaire, it's not like I'm tied up in some meeting or whatever. I'm just thinking about, oh shit, in order for me to get there at 2:30, I'll have to sneak in a meal too quickly and it's not going to work. I might as well just wait till 3. I'll get that meal in that I need. Types of foods that I'm eating any and everything. It doesn't really matter a ton on the actual food choices. However, I try not to eat foods that will upset my stomach. I don't deal with lactose very well, so ice cream has to take a back seat, unfortunately. Tears. Pizza, I can't eat as much pizza as I'd like. But in general, I'm still kind of pounding down whatever foods that I'd like. Again, just trying to make sure that the turnover is quick in my digestion process so I can continue to eat more food. As I get closer to this contest in November, which is still quite a bit of ways, I will have to start to wake up a little earlier, go to bed a little bit earlier, have a little bit longer of an actual day so I can eat even more food and continue to get even bigger. Right now I'm about 275 pounds. I'd like to be about 285, 290. I think this morning I actually woke up at like 280, so that's pretty good on the bloatness factor. But I'll have to continue to swell up, continue to get bigger in order to reach my goals. So when you're talking about powerlifting and you're talking about lifting the most amount of weight, there is no real diet for it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The only thing you want to be cautious of, make sure it's stuff that you can digest, make sure it's stuff that you're familiar with. Surround your workouts with food before and afterwards. If you want to go with the intra-workout type of stuff, there's some science to back some of that up. There's some science to not back some of it up. Either way, pick and choose whatever style you'd like. Make sure you're getting in enough fuel to enhance your workouts. That's always going to be a key component to the entire thing. Can you powerlift without carbohydrates? Sure. Can you powerlift without a lot of fat in your diet? Sure, you can do either way. Is it going to be optimal? Are you going to be as strong as absolutely humanly possible? No. So there is no real diet for powerlifting. I don't care who says what, but you're going to have to find foods that you feel good about and foods that you feel good with. You're still going to be able to eat fruits and vegetables, and you want to get in about a gram of protein per pound of body weight. You might want to double that in the amount of carbohydrates that you eat, and then the fats would probably be 1-to-1, just like the protein. And you're like, oh my God, it's going to make me a fat fuck. It may make you a fat fuck, but it will make you a great power lifter. Strength is never a weakness, and that is it from Super Training Gym.
Thanks for watching the last video, guys. If you want more content, be sure to subscribe, like, share it. Leave your comments below on what you thought. If you want to see more content from the strongest gym in the West, be sure to click up here. And if you guys want the best gear in the powerlifting game, all the strength sports, slingshot, right over here.